If you're watching this video the day it was uploaded, then it's my birthday. I thought I'd celebrate by making a more personal video. Aside from my channel, I've also helped make several Touhou fan games for Touhou Game Jams. I wanted to go back and take a look at all of the complete fan games I've helped to make. Now, you might be wondering, isn't this video topic a little vain and self-absorbed? Yeah! That's all I got. Number 10, Satori's Mind Games. We all have to start from somewhere. This was a visual novel I made for a 2-week game jam, in about 1 day. I didn't have a good idea of where to start, and I was too scared to ask anyone for help. But the last day of the jam, I had a sudden burst of inspiration and... well, this happened. This is the only game where I'll trash the art because I'm the one who made it. It sucks. The characterization is also a bit strange. I was still fairly new to Touhou, so my Reimu isn't exactly accurate. The game's also insanely short, but there are some good things. Maggie offered out emergency services for Game Jam games, and the remix of Heartfelt Fancy she did for me was great. And I still like the concept. The idea of Satori playing games with people using her mind powers is nice. And it started my patented melodramatic ending scene with silence to set the mood. I wouldn't call it good nowadays, but I am happy it helped me get started with making Touhou fan games. Number 9, Touhou Twin Rhythm. You might be surprised to see this game so low, considering it's one of the most popular on my itch.io page. Well, for the positives, the aesthetics are on point. This was the first time I ever worked with Wookywok. You might know him from Phantasmal Boundaries or Shard of Dreams Extended, but he's also helped me a ton with Touhou fan games. All of the songs in this game rock. And DJ Thunderheart, who I'll talk more about later, does a fantastic job with all of the art. But then there's the gameplay. The concept is cool. Dodge with the character, it notes like a rhythm game. I did the programming, and it sucks. I had never played a rhythm game before, so I didn't know how to chart the songs satisfyingly, and I didn't understand how important feedback from note clears were. From this, you get a really nice looking and sounding game that just feels terrible to play. But it was a good learning experience, and DJ Thunderheart and Wookywok both produced top-notch work. Number 8, Touhou Crescent Incursion. The newest entry on this list. From here on out, I'm pretty happy with every game listed. Crescent Incursion is probably the game I was the least involved with, but I still got to do some cool stuff. I wrote a narrative that wove in Touhou lore from Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom, and pushed Momiji to the lead since she loves shogi. Aeon also did a fantastic job bringing the game engine to life. The 2D sprites on a 3D plane look really cool. Those sprites were from Bakaretsu, a popular Fire Emblem fan artist, and the 3D model was from Vinus. Muzilana also gave life to some wonderful arrangements of Touhou songs into the Fire Emblem style. Now as for the level design, I did most of it. It's okay. Designing for Fire Emblem was pretty challenging, so I ended up making wasn't all that special despite the time I spent. The game also might be impossible to beat from a bug, but this was for a week-long game jam. I'm still pretty happy with this game. Number 7, Touhou Sealing Song. This is an interesting case. The reason this game ranks so low is because there's barely any gameplay. There's an interactive cutscene disguised as gameplay, but that's it. This game is also short, and reuses a lot of background assets. That being said, I'm really proud of this one. I got to work with my sister, who drew the character art, some new backgrounds, and the final story scenes. Oh yeah, the final story scenes. This is a Secret Sealing Club game, and I wrote it all based around an ending twist I came up with. That twist required the efforts of my sister and Wookywok to make happen, but I also worked with 2 other people who elevated the twist even more. Melon Pie is a fantastic Touhou writer, and they got me on track with Hifu lore. Chikoder makes beautiful Touhou piano arrangements, and they made a particular piece for the twist that fits perfectly. This is not much of a game, but it does have a story that I really like. Number 6, Touhou Phantasmagoria of Festive Effervescence. I directed, programmed, and wrote this game. This was my first game after Safori's Mind Games, and boy, what a glow up. I conceived a sort of versus version of Touhou 1. It is not optimized for competitive play in any way, but it's still pretty fun in both single player and multiplayer. Nephitheus did the music, which gives the game a nice Genesis-ish feel while still feeling pretty unique. And of course, DJ Thunderheart. I've worked with her on so many games. She is super talented and created a wide variety of assets. She also works really fast. The only reason Koishi is in this game is because she had extra time to draw her. I didn't even have Koishi on the planning document. But yeah, good gameplay, an original concept, and great presentation. Number 5, Touhou Sumireko's Clearance Cruise. For this game, I only worked as a programmer and designer. This was the first game in my visual novel engine I didn't write. I also didn't direct this game. Wookywok both wrote and directed this game. This was for PrideJam 4, so Wookywok wrote the game about being Arrow Ace, something he thought was underrepresented in the Pride space. For gameplay, Wookywok came up with the idea of making a puzzle game where you move entire rows and columns. I messed around and de-emphasized combos, and what we got was a really fun system with a lot of depth. And since it's Wookywok, the music is fantastic. It has a Knuckles Chaotix vibe for everything. DJ Thunderheart also once again supplies some great art. It's important in puzzle games for the different elements to be distinct in shape and color, and she nailed it. Me, Wookywok, and DJ Thunderheart. At this point, we'd worked on so many games together that we were pretty in sync production-wise. I think we even finished this game a week early. That was enough time to add things like an extra song and some character sprites. Oh, and another fun fact. DJ Thunderheart has the world record for this game. See if you can beat her. Number 4, Touhou Lucid Witch. I directed, programmed, and wrote this game. Well, I didn't write it by myself. I consulted with Melon Pie for making a story about Marissa, and they helped a ton in shaping Marissa's journey through the dream world. I once again worked with Wookywok and DJ Thunderheart. Together, we all crafted Marissa's dream space into a land of the strange, a land of a ton of danger, and a land with a lot of emotion. I love this game's atmosphere. This was the game where I'd really say we all worked together in perfect sync for the first time, and I'll always remember it for that. Oh, and then gameplay and story. Gameplay isn't the most mind-blowing thing in the world, but it's still fun. And importantly, there's a lot more gameplay in this game than most of my other story-based games. The minigames were also something I had fun making. And the story. I think it's just right. It's paced well, it emphasizes Marissa's strengths, and it has a pretty heartfelt ending. This game represents best what I want games I make to be. Experiences where storytelling and gameplay are both intertwined. Number 3, Louise's Vacation. I directed, wrote, and designed for this game, but I did not program. EasternMouse handled the programming, and he did a fantastic job. The amount of content we were able to stuff in thanks to his fast speed was insane. Louise's Vacation is kind of like a Zelda game without combat. Specifically, kind of like Four Swords. EasternMouse had a sort of adventure engine, so I imagined a peaceful vacation with the fun of discovery. A college friend of mine, Captain Diz, did the artwork along with their friend Sketchably. They both did really great jobs and helped out with a lot of little details. I think that's what makes Louise's Vacation so great, the details. You're not just exploring to find a MacGuffin, you're also exploring to find a camera belonging to a Tengu, or to find Yugi hidden in a cave. The game world covers so many facets of Touhou. Louise from the PC98 era, Sumireko co-stars, Takane runs the shop, the Yokai Mountain covers sections from both 10 and 18. The music CDs get referenced. Ah yes, music. Wookywok handled sound effects and menu themes. The puzzles are all satisfying to solve from that work. and Prismriver Orchestra handled the main backing tracks. These remixes are so good, with the final area song in particular feeling super grand. I love so much about this game, and I'm really proud of all the work we did. Number 2. Touhou, Heart of the Tiger. The Heart games fill the top 2 spots. For Heart of the Tiger, I co-directed and was the main writer for the game. I also did a bit of Unity programming. I worked with 17 other people to make this massive game. Quarium did portrait art, Infinite Decaf did the interlude scenes, DJ Thunderheart drew the background, Unknown Pebble drew the cards, Kappaman helped with gameplay sprites, Saizen drew a lot of the CGs, Konbai drew the logo, and we had bonus artists for the credits. In Succession did the main bar music, Prismriver Orchestra did the credits theme, and Sarasu did sound effects and was instrumental to the game's story. And then, there's Ice Lemon and Jacoder. Ice Lemon and Jacoder are 2 other game makers I'd always admired from past Game Jam games, so I proposed before Pride Jam 4 for us to make a game together. Ice Lemon made a blackjack minigame I proposed a lot more fun. Jacoder came up with an excellent framing device for the story, and other team members also affected the outcome of the game. It was a combination of the best ideas from everyone. But the game itself, Heart of the Tiger, is a game I wrote for Shou. Shou is the least appreciated of the UFO cast, so I wanted to give her something. And honestly, I think this might be my best written game, which is probably thanks to all the assistance I got in writing. Instead of trying to portray a grand story or an entire relationship, the bulk of this game takes place at a bar. We get to see snippets of other Touhou pairings, and Shou's able to show off both her goofiness and her extreme kindness. We slowly get to learn about her regrets, and the game transitions into a finale I really like. And there's mini-games along the way to help keep the audience invested. The Heart games are games that take a lot of work to make. Again, we had 18 people working to make this game. But the end result is something that I truly believe is great. Number 1. Touhou Dance of the Inverted Heart. Touhou POFE was a good game, but this game is where I think I really found my game-making style. To prepare for Touhou Pride Jam 3, I researched different pairings, and my favorite ended up being Seiya and Shin Yomaru. After I wrote a story I liked, I also coded a visual novel engine, something I would use in a lot of later projects, and I put in mini-games to keep players interested. The structure for most of my games is laid out here. And then the team. DJ Thunderheart once again did art, and I cannot stress how much work she did for this project. She made at least 80 unique drawings in 2 weeks, and they're all beautiful. Wookywok helped with the audio. He created all the visual novel sound effects, which I still use. And I had another idea. I wanted to work with every composer I'd ever worked with up to this point on this game. So, Maggie made a song, Nevathius made a song, Jacoder made a song, Wookywok made a song, and I even got to work with some new people. Kobito made a song, In Succession made an ending song, Prismriver Orchestra made a post-release song, my high school friend Skippin' a Beat made 3 songs. There was a lot of music. It was a dance after all. And from all of this, we have a game about Seiya. Seiya, who thinks she's in total control and knows what she wants. But Shin Yomaru's kindness starts to gradually change her. Seiya's journey is a funny one, an angsty one, and an emotional one. Like I mentioned before, I think Heart of the Tiger might be a better story, but this is still my favorite story. We get to see Seiya transform while still retaining her identity. The story weaves in and out of Touhou canon, which I think makes it really cool for longtime fans to read. And for me, this was the first game where I really felt like I'd found my place in game development. I learned that I love directing games here, and I got my first real high placing at a game jam for writing. I owe this game for a lot of what makes me, me. And that's why out of all the fan games I worked on, this is my number 1. And those were my rankings of Touhou Fangames I've worked on. If any of these games sounded interesting to you, you can find a link to my itch.io page in the description of the video, where all my games are. Also in the description, you can find links to everyone who I've worked with to help bring these games to life. Thank you so much for watching.